Okay. For some reason, the camera looked blurry for a second. I just rubbed the lens with my finger. Never mind. Hey guys. The Freddy's VR game came out. Well, it didn't come out. Some people got early access and they've been filming it. I actually have a whole playlist made for it. I want Kat to watch it so we can talk about it, but she's waiting to watch it. She's waiting until she gets some free time, and she wants to watch it with her brother. You know, a little bonding experience, but he's busy too, so they're both just waiting. And I am dying to talk about it, because, oh my god, the story is... Okay, and I haven't seen the full thing yet, because no one's beaten it yet, and Scott's telling them not to do it yet. He has specific guidelines for them, like, you can go this far, but don't go past that. And you get the point. So I haven't seen the full story, but what I've seen so far, I want to talk about it, but I can't spoil it for her. So instead, I'm gonna make a video where I vent about it here. I will put a spoiler warning in the video, in the title and in the description and everywhere. Spoiler warning, guys. And just like any video where I walk around, we'll walk around outside, because I feel like it. Okay, so when I first seen the VR game, back when Scott gave a list of games and projects that was coming out, and Into Madness, the VR game, the AR game, the AAA game, the book series, the movie. I think that's it. I think that was all. I don't remember. I need to relook at that post. Yeah, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. This stuff's probably going to take a long time to come out. So, took a break from the FNAF, franchise for a bit. Went back to Turtles and Sonic and a few others. And as soon as stuff started popping with that franchise again, I hopped right back on it. And the first thing to come up was the VR game. Alright. I was hoping to be Into Madness, but alright. When I first seen it, people were calling it FNAF 7. I don't think it's FNAF 7. I do believe it is canon to the FNAF world and stuff. But I think it's another side game, like FNAF World or the Ultimate Custom Night. I don't think it counts as FNAF 7. If we're going by that logic, FNAF World is FNAF 5. And that would mean FNAF 6 is actually 7. And then Ultimate Custom Night is FNAF 8. I don't think so. I don't think from what I've seen, no, I don't think it's FNAF 7 at all. I don't know if Scott is going to make a FNAF 7. He's making Into Madness, which may or may not be FNAF 7. Just like with 4, he said it would be the last one. He ended up making more. In 6 pretty much says this is the end. Well, we know how Scott is. Ever since FNAF 3, he's been implying that it's the last game, and it never usually is. So even though 6 apparently wraps everything up in a nice perfect little bow, and pretty much explains everything, Into Madness might be FNAF 7. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I want to know what Into Madness is. I'm so interested in it because it might be FNAF 7, the next main one in the story. But this VR game had surprised me. I thought maybe there'd be some little hints of lore here and there, but I didn't know it would be like main canon. I thought it would be like a non-canon thing, but I was wrong. I should have known. I should have known better. So, Kat predicted it would be canon, and she predicted it counts as FNAF 7. I don't know if she did. Maybe she predicted it would be canon, but she didn't exactly predict it's FNAF 7. I said it wasn't canon, and I thought Into Madness will be 7. Well, it's canon. Not sure if it counts as FNAF 7. I don't think so. But it's canon. Let me tell you, it's canon. That surprised me. Oh boy. The story. The opening, the title screen. There's nothing story-wise there, but I might as well mention it because it's cool. If you turn around, there's Foxy. And if you move side to side, their eyes and heads follow you. It's creepy. You hit new game, you start the game, and It starts you off on a roller coaster ride, and it's hand unit explaining. I'm not going to go into it word for word, but oh my god, it's a game within a game. It's in the actual world of FNAF 1 through 4 and SL and Pizzeria Simulator. FNAF 1 through 6. It's a game that exists within the world. And from what we've seen, I figured out where it takes place in the timeline. At least speculate. It either takes place in between 3 and 6, or it takes place after 6. Maybe after Ultimate Custom Night as well. Well, hell, maybe even before. But my personal belief, it's in between 3 and 6. I think it's right smack dab in the middle. From 2023 to 2027, this game would be 2025. Or maybe I'm wrong. Could take place right before 6, right after 3. Who knows? But it just takes place in between. It's a game that Fazbear Entertainment has made based off the quote-unquote rumors about their restaurant. They're just... They know all this stuff is true, but they're lying to people and saying, nah, they're just rumors, ghost stories. And we're going to gag on it. Like, make fun of yourselves. Poke fun at it, have fun. In reality, they're doing this as a cover-up to make people think they were all lies and fiction. But nope, we all know that ain't true. We all know kids went missing there, experiments with Remnant went on, all that complicated shit. And the reason why it's only recreating games from FNAF 1 through 4 and SL is because, like I said, it's before FNAF 6. There is hints of it in there. There's Helpy on the menus. And there's even a Helpy Easter egg. So I think Helpy was made before 6. So maybe that's why he's here. It's like the early days of Helpy. Who knows? But you get into the game, there's hidden tapes everywhere. They are weird and glowy. You gotta collect them all, Collect. Once you pull the switch to go into hard mode, there's also a hidden tape recorder there. You click it and you can play all the tapes you're finding. And it reveals hidden story and lore. One of the things that the tour at the beginning on the roller coaster, what hand unit says is Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for digital characters materializing in real world. Digital consciousness upload, pretty much downloading your consciousness onto the internet, putting you online, trapping you in a digital world. Characters from the game appearing in the real world, night terrors, nightmares, night sweats, and then it just fades to black. So that's kind of scary. So yeah, this beta tester, who was voiced by a chick named Sarah, and I thought this was going to be for Into Madness, but I guess it's for this game. At least I assume this is her. But this beta tester left tapes everywhere. She was playing the game, and the guy who funded the game told him to program this in. He gave him some chips and some codes. Said program this in, it'll make making the game go a lot faster. And he put something on there, and it's like, I'm conflicted on what it is. Spoiler alert warning, this thing is the rest of them are all possibly just digital video game things, they're not real. But this is the one real thing in there. And I'm thinking either it's A, William Afton, Springtrap, coming up with a new scheme, somehow putting himself in the game, or B, Shadow Bonnie. This doesn't look like any animatronic we've ever seen before, and it doesn't even look like a FNAF style animatronic. It looks similar to real life animatronics, actually. Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz and Disney. It looks similar to those. Its torso is one piece. Its mouth and head, you don't see the bottom jaw as a separate piece that you can see open and close. It actually looks like it's all one thing, just like on Chuck E. Cheese and shit. But the arms and legs still kind of look like the FNAF style. You can see where they bend at the elbows. It kind of looks like a toy animatronic. what's making me think, is this Shadow Bonnie? Is this Shadow Bonnie or is this William? I don't know. I haven't seen that yet because Scott won't let people get that far yet. That's okay. He wants the game to be released first. I understand that. But I'm just theorizing and speculating here. Could this be Springtrap in his new form? Call him Digital Trap? Glitch Trap? I don't know. But yeah. That's that. The tape says she was playing the test, and down the hall in the FNAF 1 game where Bonnie's supposed to be, she's seen it there. And she didn't think much of it. She thought, oh, well, the Bonnie model must have glitched out or something. But then when he got to the door, it just, instead of walking past like Bonnie does in the game, he just stared in there. And not like it's a game thing, like it was an actual real thing actually staring at them, at her. This thing was some kind of ghost in the game. Creepy. And once you start collecting these tapes and also progressing the story, the more tapes you get and the more minigames you play, it starts to appear over to the right of you. At first it's just the purple eyes and like a vague outline of something, and it's way over there in the distance. But the more tapes you collect and the more games you play, the closer it gets and the more solid and physical it becomes, the more less transparent. You can actually tell what it is. And it looks, it's some kind of spring Bonnie or some kind of Bonnie. It has what looks to be a blue bow tie, or maybe that's just the lighting, but it also has a blue vest, it looks like. We've never seen an animatronic with a vest before. Kind of reminds me of Pop Goes' Put Back Together Mangle. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But yeah, it gets closer and it waves at you. Whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is. Ooh, it's creepy, whatever it is. The beta tester said she was hiding these tapes in here for the next beta tester to find it, so they can try to figure out how to get rid of this thing. And she made the file size small so it would fly under the radar. And Hand Unit says, if you see any glitching objects from the beta stage of the game, don't interact with them. We'll remove them eventually. There's no guarantee we'll remove them eventually. Meaning, they should, but they're too lazy. So they're just gonna leave them in. Then this creature, and by near the end of the tapes, this creature latched onto the tapes, and it made it where she can't get rid of the tapes. Some hacking ghost magic bullshit. Holy shit. Now there's only one way to stop it, but I don't know what that is because I haven't seen that far yet. Also, this confirms something else. Jeremy is not the Bite of 87 victim. Confirmed. Not the Bite of 87 victim. Because if he was, he either wouldn't be alive to be one of the beta testers of this game, and even if he was alive, he wouldn't be in no state to play a video game. What the hell? Should I call the police? Is that an actual murder going down, or should I just... I think I'm going inside. Oh shit. Oh fuck that. I'm not being a witness. I ain't being no witness. No, fuck that. Oh, and some minor unrelated news. I found out that Pamela is actually a boy. We renamed him to Peter. And I found a new turtle. I named her Betsy, and she's kind of a feisty one. I know that one's a girl. He's been trying to mount her. Gonna have some turtle babies soon. I'm gonna buy an incubator. Shit's expensive though. But anyway. So yeah, that's all that was going on there. Oh no, I wasn't done. The screaming threw me off completely. If he was still alive by the time, he wouldn't be in no condition to be able to play a game, let alone live as a normal person. Because without your frontal lobe, you're pretty much a retard. Oh, sorry, that's offensive. You're special. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, whatever. Care. People are too easily offended nowadays, so you know what? I don't care. Get offended. Get over it. Yeah. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, Jeremy's not the bite victim. And there's hints that Freddy may be the one who did the bite, and it may be a kid. Even though the whole lore of them is that they don't hurt kids. Unless they're made by Afton and are on his side. Like the Fun Times, the Nightmares, and the Twisteds. Kat actually brought this up a long time ago, explaining how FNAF doesn't make sense and doesn't work in real life. And one of the things she says was, if you're a ghost, came back from the dead, and murders people, you have no boundaries. Even if you start out with a certain set of rules that you try to follow, eventually over time, the more you lose your mind, the more you start to go. When you get the urge to kill, when your bloodlust rises, anything will do. You don't care. So she said the fact that many years later on, around the FNAF 2 and FNAF 1 days, they're still not hurting kids and just hurting adults and night guards, that doesn't make sense. So she believes the bite of 87 could have still been done to a kid. And this may or may not confirm it. Or maybe it's unrelated, and I'm just connecting dots that aren't there. But the Freddy repair minigame, there's a child's wristwatch inside Freddy, there's a child's shoe inside Freddy, and there's a child's hat in Freddy's mouth. Now this could be, when we seen it in the trailer and in the teaser, we speculated two things. One, this is either when the kids' bodies were stuffed in there, which, no, we don't see a body in there. We just see a shoe, a watch, and a hat. We see some red stringy stuff way in the back. It could either be wires, it could be shoelaces, or it could be blood. Either one. So maybe they removed the child's body and got rid of it, but they forgot to take his shoe and shit out, but why would the hat still be in the mouth? That doesn't make sense. So maybe it's not that. So my second theory is, what if it's the bite of 87? What if Freddy is the one who did it and it was a kid? And that's why the rule is don't touch Freddy. Because Freddy has gone snapped. He was the first to go. You would expect him to be the one to keep it the longest. But surprisingly, he's the first one to go. Probably the stress of being the leader. But that's just a speculation. Maybe some random kid being an asshole like kids do probably fucked up Freddy just to be a dick. Tossed his hat in there, shoe and watch for some reason. Or maybe a bully took that kid's stuff and threw it in Freddy. I don't know. And if it is supposed to be the bite of 87, if you're going off the timeline literally everyone goes off of, then it can't be the bite of 87 because that's FNAF 1 Freddy. Freddy looked like his withered form at this time. And FNAF 1 wasn't open. FNAF 2 was open. But that, unless you go off Caitlin's theory and her personal headcanon, which she is stuck to believe it's real because it makes sense. She worked it out. It makes perfect sense for real life. She thinks FNAF 2 isn't a prequel, but not a sequel either. She thinks it takes place at the exact same time as 1, and they're running side by side. And she says the reason why it says 1987 on the check is because 1, either it's an old check, Fazbear Entertainment is a shady company, or 2, FNAF 1 actually takes place in 87. And the bite of 87 took place in the same year Phone Guy mentioned it in the call. Either one, but that's her theory. And if her theory is correct, then this could work. Maybe FNAF 1 Freddy did do the bite of 87. But that's just speculation and a theory. I'm not even sure if most of these games are canon to actual stuff that happened. Like, they have FNAF 1, 2, and 3 recreated. Plus, kinda, sorta FNAF 4 and SL. Kinda. But the games aren't really accurate. Like, you can't tilt the camera up and look at it like in-game. It's more like you just hit buttons and it's there. Characters still act like how they do in FNAF 1, except they don't just pop in everywhere. You actually see them walking, which is creepy and cool. But yeah. So the games aren't fully accurate. FNAF 2, it's like same thing. You just click, click, click. I don't think you have a battery life. Unless you do and no one's run out of battery yet. The puppet box takes forever to wind up, at least it used to. I think they updated it and now it goes a little faster. And also, Foxy is his FNAF 1 form, not his FNAF 2 form. And also, I don't think the wizards are there. I don't think Bonnie, Chica, or Freddy are there in the game. I haven't seen them. So, not fully accurate. FNAF 3 Springtrap has green eyes instead of his phantom-looking eyes that we see him. The eyes that Springtrap is famous for. All the phantoms use them. And this may just be this one person's game glitching out, because it is an early version of the game. It's a beta. But the phantoms don't quite seem right. I think one is supposed to be Phantom Balloon Boy, but it's just a pair of eyes. And when it jump scares you, it's just the phantom eyes jumping you, and there's nothing else there. And I think what's supposed to be Phantom Foxy, it kind of goes by too fast, but it looks like it's some kind of weird glitchy thing. Like in FNAF World, the glitched enemies. It looks like it's glitching between a bunch of animatronics. Now, I don't know if that's the way they're supposed to be, and this is just their new characters, their new takes, or if it's just like this because the game wasn't finished. It's buggy. I'm not sure, so I'm not counting these as new animatronics just yet. I'm gonna wait for the game to fully release, and I'll watch people play through FNAF 3 in that game. Probably Mark. See him play it. And if they're still like that, if it's still just a pair of eyes and a weird glitchy animatronic, then I guess it was intentional and it's new characters. But yeah, my point is the games aren't accurate, so maybe they're only loosely based. And there is rumors, jokes around the fan base, and to people who just don't know the lore at all, that say Freddy eats children. Maybe the fact that there's a kid hat in there and there's a shoe and a watch was just a gag at that. Both by Scott and in the actual game verse. Maybe that's an actual rumor that got spread and they're poking fun at it. So maybe they're not real events to happen, and I say this because of this. The animatronics, they look almost accurate to the games, but there's a few things off. Like Bonnie. He has two buttons on either side of his jaw that you press to open up his face. That's clearly not here. There's no buttons there. Look at that. So I think some of the games might be recreating real life events, but not being fully accurate, and some are just completely fictional. And it's hard to tell which ones are real, which ones are fictional. It's hard to know, you know? And also, Bonnie's, what do you call it? His guitar thing inside his secondary throat pipe is tuned to his Zason module. It's a blinking button on his endomouth, which, well, we don't really see their endomouths in FNAF 1. They're two way back in there. Except for Chica, you can see hers. Not on this poster, but normally you can see her teeth. But I'm pretty sure the endoskeleton models in FNAF 1 that Scott used don't have anything on them like that. So either it's not fully accurate, and it's only like loosely based off something real that happened, or it's completely fiction. Not sure. This is confusing. And another thing, this guitar, the guitar in game is not this guitar. It's some other guitar. So that's really making me think that it's not real, or maybe it's not the original FNAF 1 Bonnie. Maybe it's another variant that looks similar to him. Or maybe originally Bonnie and them had that stuff, but then when they reopened FNAF 1 years later, they removed those and gave him a new guitar. Toy Bonnie's guitar. Possibly. It's just all speculation here. Or maybe the game thing in-game isn't correct. I don't know. So yeah. Another thing, the Ennard minigame. I just want to mention this. The Ennard minigame. Again, not sure if this is a real event that happened or if it's completely fiction. But this might explain what happened to Ennard. Like, in FNAF 6, Molten Freddy has Funtime Freddy, Balor, and Funtime Foxy in him. They kicked out Baby. Baby became Scrap Baby. And my headcanon was Ennard went along with Baby. Some people are still confused. Was Ennard a thing on his own originally? Or does he only exist when all four of them meshed themselves together? My personal opinion, my belief, my headcanon, is that Ennard was another robot. Eventually he was retired and decommissioned, and they used him for parts. That's why there's a little of him in everybody. And he became like Mangle, just a bunch of wires and mess crawling around. And then when they came up with their plan to escape, they used him as a base. They all ripped themselves apart and put them into him, and they all became Ennard. Scooping Michael Afton, getting inside him till he turned purple, he threw him up till he became spaghetti once again. And then they kicked out Baby, Bonbon, I guess, or maybe Bonbon left and got lost, I don't know. And they kicked out Ennard too. And originally, I thought Bonbon just disappeared somewhere and died. And Ennard went with Baby. And just like how they're 3-in-1, Scrap Baby was actually 2-in-1. But now my new theory is maybe after Baby left, Ennard left too. Because in this game, Ennard, maybe he found some parts to rebuild himself once again. Because it kind of looks like how he did in SL, where all of them meshed together. But that could be explained as he found some spare parts and put himself together again. He even refound his old mask. I'm not sure if this is even canon, if this is real, but I'm just going to continue like it is, because this would explain what happened to him. At the end of this minigame, it's a hard one too. At the end of this minigame, you incinerate him. He's gone. You burned him to nothing. He's gone. He's dead. You melted him. This could explain what happened to him. This could be what happened. After Baby was kicked out, maybe took Ennard with him, maybe him and her got into an argument, they left from each other. Ennard went on, did his own thing for a while till he got incinerated. Burned. That's a theory. Okay, and this one, Dark Rooms. Or not Dark Rooms, Night Terrors. Dark Rooms was the other one. Night Terrors, which is FNAF 4 location, but with SL characters in it. First, I thought this was canon. When I seen the trailers, it was like, oh, well, FNAF 4 and SL are connected. Maybe part of one of William's twisted experiments was that he would let the SLs go in the house to play a game with kids. But Bonnet is here, and she's one of the non-canon characters. I'm not sure if this first one with Funtime Freddy is canon. Maybe it's one of the fictional ones. Another one of the characters is Nightmare On, and he's non-canon. So maybe the minigames with the non-canon characters, who are now by technicality somewhat canon because they exist as a game in the world, it's confusing. Maybe any of the minigames with non-canon characters, maybe those games are all fiction. I'm not sure. Oh my god, let me tell you about these new characters. I don't know if they're canon or not, but they're awesome. I don't know, maybe they're not quite awesome. Maybe they're okay, but Scott said best new addition to any FNAF game ever. The plush babies, or the Babbles as some people called them. I have my own fan headcanon for the three of them. The red one is Baby with a I. The yellow one is Baby with an E, so it's actually Babe. And then the last one is Baby with an IE, the blue one. Baby, Baby, and Baby. The Babbles, Baby, Babe, Baby, Babe, and Baby. Oh, that's so stupid. But that's what I came up with. But in the game with Baby, Circus Baby, in the Babbles in the closet, there's two red ones. So, so maybe there's four. So I need to come up with another one. Was there two red ones? I don't know. Why'd he give them unique colors in one game, but then decide to make them all red in another? I don't know. But the Babbles are awesome. Scott called that shit, and I was like, okay, how cool could they possibly be? They just seem like Freddles. But oh my god. It's one of the hardest minigames. And they have such a unique mechanic. It's awesome. Ooh. I want to know the lore of them. If they even are officially real in the actual world, or if there's something made up for the game within the game. I don't know which it is, but I want to know more. I hope they're real because they're awesome. Oh, now we're going to move on to new characters. That weird phantom-y type guy who's living an actual ghost in the game. Not sure who he is, so I'm not sure if we count him as a new character or not. I think he might be Shadow Bonnie. Some say he might be William. I'm just going to leave that up in the air. But let's move on to actual new characters. Let's see. FNAF 1 in normal mode has the 4 nights. No new characters really show up there. It's just the FNAF 1 then. Maybe it's not smart to go out here again, but fuck it. FNAF 2 doesn't have any new characters either. It's just the FNAF 2 guys, except for some reason it's FNAF 1 Foxy. And again, it's 4 nights on the normal mode of the game. Now we go on to FNAF 3, which, like I said, not sure if I count these, because they may just be glitches. But I already mentioned them, so moving on. Yeah, 4 nights on the normal mode. Then there's Dark Rooms, which is like their FNAF 4, except they're not recreating the nights of FNAF 4 for some reason. They're just recreating minigames. First one is Plush Trap. No new things with him there. It's just Plush Trap. Then we have Balloon Boy. Again, nothing new there. Then we have the Plush Babies. I already mentioned them, but they're new. I'm mentioning them again. They're new characters. And then finally there's Funtime Foxy, which is a recreation of Funtime Foxy's part in Sister Location. The one that Scott said nope to. Lolbit's there, but I'm not sure if it's the same Lolbit because it's kind of hard to tell, but I think this Lolbit has eyebrows, which if y'all know, Lolbit is not supposed to have eyebrows. She's one of those characters that don't have eyebrows. It's just like Bonnie in FNAF 1, Balloon Boy, and Puppet, a few others. She doesn't have eyebrows. Her FNAF World version didn't have eyebrows. Her original SL didn't have eyebrows. The Easter egg head up there that replaces Ennard. Her in Ultimate Custom Night and Sister Location Custom Night, her face that appears doesn't have eyebrows. Yet, I think a plushie and an action figure of her gave her eyebrows. The fuck, Funko? And now, in this game, in VR, she has eyebrows. I count this as a separate little bit. But anyway, not sure if it really is a separate, but whatever, moving on. Let's see. Crap, what was after Dark Rooms? Parts and Service. So I already mentioned this. These may be a different version of them, but until anything's confirmed, I'm not going to say nothing. But once you beat all 4 of them, Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, and Foxy, and you'll unlock their hard mode counterparts, this is when we get to the Neon animatronics, is what a few people have started calling them. No official name yet, but MatPat started calling them this, so fuck it, why not? Neon Bonnie, Neon Chica, Neon Carl, or Neon Mr. Cupcake, or Neon Cupcake, which for some reason is Nightmare Cupcake, but neoned instead of regular Carl neon. I think the reason why is because they're supposed to be scarier, so yeah. And then there's Neon Freddy and Neon Foxy. I don't know what their lore is. I don't know if there's anything to them. Maybe they're nothing. And maybe they don't even really exist. Maybe they're just in the game. Probably they don't. Probably they're just in the game. But like the thing at the beginning said, digital characters getting into the real world. So that means any fictional character that they made up for this game ended up becoming real in some way, shape, or form. Someone who played it, they came into the real world and attacked them. So that means these neon animatronics are a thing now. Even if they weren't originally, they are now. Meaning Marion and Bonnet and the other non-canon characters have now become officially real. And the plush babies, oh my god. Here's another theory. What if the parts and service them, like I said, which aren't completely accurate to FNAF 1, what if they're not the FNAF ones? What if they're the neons, unneoned? Because I was thinking, are these neons just new forms of the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy? Because they are just recolors of them. Then I thought, the inaccuracies. I started to piece dots. The neons are separate animatronics, just like the toys and the nightmares and all of them. They're not just another form of the originals, like the Wizards are and the Phantoms. What the hell? I just hear someone say something. Y'all heard that, right? I guess I'll see this and record, or listen to it in recording. Oh my god. But yeah, the neons. After dark rooms, if I remember correctly, or not, after parts and service, if I remember correctly, is vent repair with Mangle and Ennard, and I don't know if their hard mode counterparts have new animatronics, because again, I haven't seen that far into the game yet. And then finally, there's dark rooms, in which I don't know if they have what their hard modes have in store. So that's all I know as for new characters for now. So whenever there's a new game, it's tradition that every installment of the franchise adds at least one new animatronic. And I always dread the day when there'll be a new thing installed into the franchise that doesn't add one new animatronic. I fear the movie might do that. But I'm pretty sure they will, even if it is a little secret thing that's not important to the main story. Every new installment has to add one new animatronic. And I was worried about this VR game. Like, oh, it's just recreating the first 5 games? Oh, there's not going to be anything new here. Then they revealed the plush babies. Oh, okay, something new, good. Eases my nerves and eases, relieved. But I was like, oh, it's just one minor addition. Then Scott said, oh, best addition to any FNAF game ever. Alright, Scott. Alright. I see you. Don't let me down. And then, not only did the plush babies turn out to be awesome, they weren't the only new addition. There's possibly that thing over there. Whatever it is, maybe a new character, maybe not. Then there's the neons, and then there's all these other things. Oh. No, I shouldn't have been worried. Of course they would have added new characters in here. Man. To be honest, guys, I used to be a gamer. Now I'm more into watching other people play video games than playing them myself. I should probably get back into playing games. And I never got into the VR craze. It's been becoming more and more mainstream nowadays. I've never been that into it, actually. I've seen a few videos of it. Mark and Jack playing it. Like that game where you're like Spider-Man swinging. And a few others games. I was like, okay, it's a cool, neat little thing. I never really got into it. And then when it actually got officially released, and it became like a main thing, and there's so many games for it, I have not seen barely anything of it because I'm not interested. It's for some reason it just doesn't interest me. Probably because the idea of having to have a whole room dedicated to it seems like unnecessary. It's either you clear a big bunch of space in your bedroom or your living room, wherever you're playing it at, or you have one room dedicated to it, and that just seems like, wow. You gotta be a really big gaming nerd just to have one room for one console. And you know what? If you are, good on you. Go ahead and do you. You do that. Me? Maybe one day in the future, but as of right now, I can't afford that. Plus, it's expensive as hell, so I never got into it. So, this VR game is the first VR game I've really seen, other than early access games that, back before the system was truly released. You get the point. This is my first true VR game, my first thing. And you know what? Now it's starting. I may get into VR now. Sure, it has a few problems depending on how you set it up. Like Fusion Z Gamer, his microphone kept getting in the way of his sensor, causing his game to lag. Plus this and that. But when Jack played it, he had a new type of Oculus that does something different, so it worked a lot better. So yeah, I'm gonna get into Oculus, figure out what's the best thing to go with. Maybe one day in the future I'll buy one. One day. Probably after it's already died out and there's a new thing out already. Which is fine. But it doesn't matter. Better late than never. Probably gonna go with what Jack had, since he said that was the best. Barely had any problems with it. Man, no. So yeah, got me into VR. I wasn't really all that interested in it. Then this game got me into it. All right. I'll check out some other VR games. Probably Google some in my off time. And maybe one day when I get one in the future, whatever games I like to watch playing, I'll probably buy them and play them. FNAF VR is definitely going to be the first game I get for it. You know that to be true. But yeah. The story. Jeremy, he's not the bite victim. And apparently he was a graphics design game artist. Oh, we got some insight into one of the characters. Now we know him for more than just a guy that sits behind a desk and puts on a mask. He actually has something to him. That version of him, that one fan-made version that has a question mark on his face, well, get rid of that question mark because now he actually has something to him. He can draw and make video games. That's cool. But yeah, apparently Jeremy, after playing the game when they did that stuff, probably got William or whatever this creature is on him. He started to lose his mind a little. The company knew he's seen something he shouldn't have seen. He sees too much, he knows too much. So they started getting prepared to fire him. And apparently something happened to Jeremy. So he may have not been the bite victim, but I'm not sure if he's doing okay after this. Apparently I don't know. Something to do with a guillotine paper slicer. And the fact that whatever thing in game made him go crazy. Started not acting right. He was in the testing room with black ink all over his shirt. He's not acting all good. You think they found him laying on the floor? I think he may have committed suicide with the guillotine paper slicer. That's just my theory. So, poor Jeremy. We were all wrong. You weren't the bite victim, but you definitely met your maker at the end. And this may confirm that MatPat's theory that you're playing as Michael Afton in every single game is wrong. Scott somewhere, unless it was a fake Scott somewhere confirmed that Mike in FNAF 1 and Michael Afton are two different Mikes. Yet I guess MatPat must have missed that when he made his theory. And this confirms that Jeremy and possibly Fritz are separate people as well. It's not just Michael going from location to location changing his name. And that still leaves the mystery of who is playing in FNAF 3. Was it Michael? Was FNAF 4 not his first game? Was this his first game? Because FNAF World seems to hint at it, kind of. Or was it Mike Schmidt from FNAF 1 because the same type of hallucinations around the building happened there? Or here's an idea, was it Henry? Because the place burns down at the end and Henry's playing at FNAF 6 was to try to burn him. It's the same breathing sounds as Jeremy and Fritz from FNAF 2 whenever you get jump scared by a phantom. So it could be them. Or it could be someone completely new. Or here's an idea. The official, technically kind of unofficial name for the third game's Night Guard is the beta tester. Or something like that. Sound familiar? What if FNAF 3 is actually part of this VR game? Nah, probably not. Probably just a coincidence or something. That also leaves a question. Who are we playing as in this VR game? Like, I know we're a beta tester, but are we just some random person? Or are we someone who's important to the lore? always someone who we played as in a past game. Are we playing as Mike Schmidt? Henry? Could we be playing as not Jeremy, definitely. Could it be Fritz though? Could it be Michael? So that means Michael has 4 games, possibly 5, under his belt. He's maybe in FNAF 3, he may be in this game, and he was definitely in 4 and 5. Possibly 6 too. I know it's supposed to be indefinite, but Cat poked some holes. It's possibly not him in there. It's supposed to be, but screw it. So make that 2 games, possibly 5. This is 3 maybes in there. Maybe. I don't know. We could just be playing as a random nobody. But we like to think we're playing as somebody. Who could we be playing as in VR? Could we be playing as a kid? Because we seem short in the game. Someone pointed that out. I think it was Jack pointed it out. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was Jack. Jack pointed out maybe we're playing as a kid. Because it is a video game on the VR. You know, video games are a kid thing. No, adults can do it too. Some adults like Mark and Jack make a living off it, but you know what I mean. Usually games are marketed towards kids. So it's possible that we're playing as a kid in this game. A kid playing a game in a game. Yeah, we're playing as a kid playing a video game. Boom. That kid must be scared shitless listening to those tapes. Maybe the kid's oblivious, thinking that, oh, it's part of the story of the game. It's not real. It's all part of the story. Little does that kid know that he's going to wake up and that weird, freaky new bunny thing is going to be there staring at him. Yeah. Scary, right? Man. That's going to be fucked up. Oh yeah, I think I got everything I wanted to say, but I want to go for an hour for OCD reasons. Let's see. I'm excited for the full release. I want to reach the conclusion. I want to get to the end of this. I'll make another video when I finally get the full story. I'm curious. I'm legit intrigued by this. The fact that this is actually officially full-on canon. Maybe this is FNAF 7 because it's full canon. It's not like maybe it is, but something like FNAF World and maybe like Ultimate Custom Night. Technically, it's I don't know. Maybe this is FNAF 7. Maybe it's not. Who knows? I just can't wait to see where it goes. I'm just waiting for someone to finish the game, but probably have to wait till the game comes out in 4 more days in order for that to happen. I'm waiting for Mark to play it. Did Scott not send him early access, or is Mark waiting? I'm not sure. Or is Mark taking a break from FNAF? I don't know. I hope not. Hope he plays it. Maybe he's scared. No, he's the king! He's not scared. Maybe he's waiting for it to come out, you know. Or maybe Scott didn't send him an early copy because he's the king. He wants people to wait to see him play it because that's the one everyone wants. It's like, gotta wait, gotta build up, like, yeah. Either way. I guess I can talk about some other FNAF news. I got like 11 minutes left. So yeah, the new book series that he was working on. Fazbear's Frights is what they're called. Short little horror stories that expand the universe of FNAF. I'm not sure if they're in continuity with the book series or if they're their own unique continuity. I think he said in his post of all the new projects, they said it was expanding the book universe, or the book series. So I think they are in canon, maybe. We'll see. But one is Into the Pit. The cover of it has a creepy spring bunny hiding in a ball pit, possibly with William Afton inside waiting to pull the kid down. Creepy. And the second one is Fetch with a brand new dog animatronic. Oh my god, Sparky. Anyone remember Sparky back in the FNAF 1 days? That little fan-made Easter egg thing that everyone thought was actually real, and it kicked off a whole bunch of other stuff to be rumored, speculated. You know, it's kicked off a bunch of hoax. Oh my god. Maybe almost 5 years later, but Scott finally called it out. He made a dog animatronic. It may or may not be a reference to Sparky. Or maybe it's unrelated, I don't know. I'm excited for this dog animatronic. Then again, I'm excited for any new animatronic ever. I used to try to, back in the early days of FNAF, when we just had FNAF 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, I tried to keep track of every animatronic. I had a whole list, and every time a new one be added, I'd have to, in every new game, I'd add on to the list. And then when I found out one character was actually the same as another character, or this one character was actually different from this guy, I have to keep reworking the list. And eventually, sometime after SL, I give up. I'm just like, alright, I can't keep track of them all, but it doesn't mean I'm not excited whenever a new animatronic's added. Because I'm an animatronaholic. I love animatronics. Even if I can't keep track of them all. I love them. So even though I gave up on trying to keep track of them all, try to have a whole list of them, I still find it fun whenever there's a new animatronic added. It's like, oh, it's so cool. Can't wait to see what this dog animatronic has in store. And I hope that the second book's called Fetch. And I hope that this Into the Pit story has a new animatronic in it as well. Like, hopefully that Spring Bonnie we see is a new version of Spring Bonnie. Or maybe it's one of the already existing suits. Maybe it's the one that William stuffed that guy in FNAF 4. You know, the Easter egg. Looking at the drawing and looking at the sprite, it kind of looks similar. I'm thinking it's a new Spring Bonnie, maybe. Or maybe it's the Spring... No, it couldn't be. We know what William's Spring Bonnie suit looked like. Springtrap, we know what he looks like. It definitely didn't have cheeks. No. We'll see. Can't wait for those to come out, but they don't come out till very end of this year and early next year. We got a long time to wait for those. There's FNAF movie thing Easter egg in the VR game. Not sure how it unlocks, how you get to it. Maybe it's random. But there's just a bunch of, on the TV up there's a bunch of pictures of what looks to be a real life endoskeleton. Obviously, a hint towards the movie. Like, hey, here's a little tease for it. We're actually going to use real robots. Something that's been confirmed for a while now, but some people are still worried about it. Like, oh, what if he goes back and decides to make him CG? I would be pissed, honestly, in my opinion. I would be super pissed if they made a Five Nights at Freddy's movie and didn't use real practical animatronic effects. Because it's a whole franchise about animatronics. This is like perfect. Don't waste your opportunity. People for the past 20 or 30, almost 30, so years now, have been complaining that CG, some people like it, depends on how good the CG is. And some people miss the practical effects. And I'm a fan of practical, but Kat says she could be meh, but she likes CG. She doesn't hate it like everyone else does. I like practical. But if they CGI'd the animatronics in the FNAF movie, instead of actually using real robots, oh come on, what the hell is wrong with you? I know, the reason why they started using CG nowadays and more often than practical effects is because easier to do, and plus, depending on how good the CG is, you couldn't tell if it was fake. Some animatronic and some practical effects in certain movies, depends on the budget you have and the people you have working on it. Sometimes you could tell they were fake. Like they didn't look convincing, they didn't look good at all. But hell, when they did look convincing, oh my god. So, but because of all those times when it didn't, they decided, you know what, let's do something better, CG. And early CGI wasn't that good until they perfected it. And it was like, whoa, it looks so good. But the more and more they used it, the more the audience trained their eyes to be able to recognize it. It's like, CG, boring. I know it's not really there. People started to miss practical effects, and some movies here and there still use them. And some use practical and CG. So they're not fully dying out yet. In fact, practical effects have been making a comeback here recently with the Chucky movie and now the FNAF movie. So yay, come back. I hope they use practical effects for the new Turtles movie. But, point is, my point I was trying to make was, if you're not going to use animatronics because they're not convincing, so you decide to use CG, the characters you're representing in the movie are supposed to be animatronics within the context of the story, so they're supposed to not look real. They're supposed to look like robots because they are robots. So why would you use CG? Luckily, Scott has confirmed that they're not going that route. There's actually going to be real animatronics. After they're done filming the movies, I would like to be the one who buys those robots and just has them. Well, would it be creepy if something happened during the filming of the movie and they actually did get possessed? And then the person who bought them after the movie was over, he had them in their house and they actually started moving. That'd be horrifying and scary, but maybe it'd also be an adrenaline rush. You can actually turn it into something, like actually make it into a thing you can pay to do. It's just like people like to skydive and stuff like that. It's dangerous, you could die from it, but the thrill, Maybe some people would actually willingly do FNAF in real life just for the thrill of it. And if these movie animatronics get possessed, which anyone watching this who doesn't believe in ghosts or anything supernatural, it's real, accept it. So, they could get possessed, you never know. I'm probably not going to be able to buy them. Someone else is probably going to get to them first, if they're not thrown away or put somewhere else. That sucks. The original Turtles costumes from the first Turtles movie, after about a year or so, they started to wither. And the same thing with the second movie. But for some reason, the heads of Mikey and Leo from the third movie, they managed to last, and overly obsessed Turtle Girl bought them. So how come those shitty costumes lasted, but the actual decent good ones that looked convincing, those didn't last? I don't get it. But I hope that the FNAF animatronics don't wither that fast after they're done filming the movie. I hope they're kept in perfect condition. I hope they're put in a museum, in glass cases, just to stop any natural weathering or withering to take place. And if somehow they did start to wither or start to break in there, they'd be maintained. I want that to be a thing. I love animatronics. I love FNAF. Even if the story is hard to follow and doesn't make sense and Kat gave up on trying to figure it out years ago, I don't care. I love FNAF. I love the characters. I love it. Okay, I started to really be weird there, but anyway. Yeah. Well, only got about a minute left. What do you think? Any last thing I want to say? What do you think? Don't really have nothing. Thinking here. Nope, I ain't got nothing. Oh, 30 seconds of awkwardness while I try to make conversation. Who thinks Funtime Foxy is a girl with a guy's voice? In the comments, raise your hands. I personally don't think so, but I don't know. But anyway, see you guys next time. Push.